From gas to groceries, inflation is straining family finances to the limit. And even worse, the one expense that's gone up at twice the rate of inflation is childcare.
Yeah, if you ask any parent who's paying for daycare right now, they'll tell you it's one of their biggest on their budget, sometimes even higher than their rent or mortgage. Tonight,
I-Team investigator Danielle DeRoss has part one of a series on childcare, looking at why costs continue to rise.
According to the U.S. Department of Labor, the median price for daycare for an infant in Florida right now is about $9,500 a year, but the prices are much higher for our part of the state. Palm Beach County now ranks third in Florida for daycare costs at about $13,000 a year. Martin County is the most expensive, pushing $14,000. These are prices that many families simply cannot afford.
Yeah. Yeah.
As a former nanny and now nurse practitioner, Amanda Graham knew just what to do once little Davis arrived.
Who's Davis? Who's Davis? There he is.
He is so cute.
But when she was ready to head back to work, she was floored by the cost of childcare.
Quickly realized, while I was pregnant, daycare was going to be more our route, affordability-wise. And then I started touring the daycares and I realized that's not really affordable either.
She's paying $305 a week in Jupiter, and that's only part-time. Now she and her lawyer husband are rethinking their family plan.
I want 3 children, and I truly believe, in our occupations, we shouldn't have to think twice about having 3 kids and paying for daycare, but we do.
It's the same all over the country. In all 50 states, putting 2 kids in daycare is now more expensive than the average monthly rent. It's impacting my family too. This is our bill for a 2-year-old and an infant in daycare. It is costing our family each month $2,700. So I wanted to know, as an I-Team reporter, where does all this money go?
I think especially in Florida and especially in Palm Beach County, the biggest burden right now that daycare providers are carrying is the cost of real estate.
Anastasia Chandler runs the Play School, a part-time preschool in Palm Beach County. When she had to leave this space in Delray Beach, she struggled to find a new location she could afford.
When you look at the kind of size of real estate that a childcare needs to operate, you're considering classrooms that are big enough to house at least 10 kids, but in ratio, which is 35 square feet per child. You need a parking lot that can fit all the parents, and you need green space. That kind of property is super expensive in Palm Beach County.
Higher operating costs that get passed along to parents.
It's just like a home away from home.
For 38 years, Mary Morris has worked to keep costs low at the daycare she runs out of her home in West Palm Beach. But recently, she had to raise her rates.
Inflation. Simple. Everything has gone up. Nothing stays the same. Groceries gone up, rent is gone, sky high.
Between water, power, and food, her bills are up all across the board. And increases in the minimum wage mean that payroll is more expensive as well.
We have to have an income. We have to live.
Economist Dr. Jessica Brown tells the I-Team that staff is the most expensive part of childcare.
So much of the costs of childcare are paying people. And I know we talk so much about how low paid childcare teachers are, and they are low paid, but it adds up very quickly.
Rent and utilities make up the second highest expense, then food and materials, but payroll accounts for nearly 80% of costs. In other industries like fast food, for example, a boost in the minimum wage can be covered by raising food prices by a few pennies because you have so many customers. But in childcare, there are only a handful of customers to shoulder the burden. In an infant room, for instance, one worker can watch 4 babies. That basically means that 4 families split all of these costs and more when prices go up.
If we don't change the way that daycares are funded, what could happen? Will we see daycares closing? Will we see staffing shortages? What's the implication of not acting?
I think all of the above. So child care centers are having trouble keeping up with the increase in wages. And even if they are able to increase those wages, that means increased tuition for parents. and centers may or may not be able to attract enough families to stay open.
Wow, I have to say I'm just happy my kids are grown.
Seriously.
How are families affording this?
Some creative solutions, Jim. You know, so many people work from home these days with remote jobs. And so you're finding a lot of parents saying, well, maybe I can keep my remote job and watch my baby at the same time. But I don't know if you've ever met a toddler. That sounds pretty impossible most days. So you have that, but you also have some families looking at the numbers and saying, my salary doesn't actually cover the cost of daycare. So people are leaving the workforce.
And that's one of the reasons probably that even if you don't have children right now or have this situation, you should still care about this issue.
Absolutely. The Florida Chamber Foundation did a study about this. They found that childcare is the #1 reason that people are leaving their jobs right now in the state of Florida. And with so many people leaving the workforce, that leaves untapped revenue. They say $5.4 billion in economic losses for the state. That's the price tag that they put on this issue.
So if you're a couple thinking about having kids, this is an issue you really need to have a discussion about beforehand.
Yeah, it's an economic decision. So it's a personal decision, but you also got to do the math and decide how you're going to pay for all those kids.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Danielle, thank you.
Excellent job. Thanks, Danielle. All right, to learn more about this crushing cost of childcare right now, you can visit our website at cbs12.com. We posted this story right now on our homepage.
Hi, I'm Liz Keatontis. Click like and subscribe buttons if you want to see more stories like this that impact you.